Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Hey everybody, it's Liam and Big Al, joined with the Lizard Man in the Garden of Unearthly Delights. This is the Badcast.
Welcome, mate.
Wow. We've got a legitimate celebrity here on the Badcast. He's the kind of guy you'd only ever expect to see at the Fringe Festival, really. Would that be a fair call?
I've been on the front cover of the Messenger newspaper, and this guy's been on the front of Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Wow.
Yeah, Guinness World Records, things like that. National Geographic even.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Very cool.
They thought I was wild. That was the only way I was on there.
Or a really dated reference. My first major publication I ever appeared in was Screw Magazine.
Right, okay.
Like old New York City, like still print zine. Screw
Wow.
Magazine.
Radical. Is that where you're from, New York originally?
I was an Army brat. I grew up all over the place, but in the mid-'90s, I was doing my doctorate work in Albany, New York, and driving down to the cities. That was sort of the beginning of my sideshow and performing career. And a very good friend of mine was the tour guitarist for Dee Snider's Sick Motherfuckers band. And when
Nice.
Dee did his movie premiere for Strangeland, he turned to his tour guitarist, who was a piercer and scarification artist and knew people like me, to get the entertainment for this party.
It's
and of course,
fantastic.
Screw came out, and then from there, that was sort of the coming out party, I guess.
Wow. Now, so this is obviously an audio format. So for those of
Right.
you who have not heard of Lizard Man, I can see on your building over there, it's
Right.
modified Marvel.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the listener
in-
what they're dealing with here?
Well, in Sideshow, a modified Marvel is a term that's usually reserved for either the tattooed man or the pierced weightlifter. With me, you actually get both.
Right.
Now, in terms of the modifications that I've made, I've had my entire body tattooed with green scales and black markings.
I was about to say that.
Yep.
So, picture up there. How long ago was that? Because
That
you're
is-
not as tattooed there as you are now.
Right, yeah, that's probably only about 4 years ago or so, though.
So it's
Wow.
continuing
Okay.
on. You're still getting more
Yeah,
tats,
there's. Right now, I would have to commit indecent exposure in front of a bunch of families to
Sure,
show you the
sure.
untattooed parts.
Sure.
But yeah,
That's good.
basically, if I go to the beach in a Speedo, you can see the little bit of work I've got left to do.
Okay, right. So it's on the
Yeah.
list though. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah, it's
happening?
upper thighs are being done as soon as I get
Oh,
home
wow.
from this festival.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact,
Fantastic.
Really?
He's just
Okay.
got one nut done.
So can you tell us out of 10 what is like the most
Well,
painful?
yeah, you do one, you don't want to do the other.
That's right. Yeah, you have to be different.
Like, no, stop. This is over. I changed my mind. No more.
So what is the most
but-
painful part to get tattooed then? Tell
Oh,
me.
in terms of the tattooing, and everybody I've ever spoke to that has this part of their body tattooed agreed that it's the worst, and it's the nose.
Oh,
the
wow,
entire
okay.
experience is awful. I described it as being punched in the nose with a cheese grater.
Okay.
And
jeez.
I think most people know what it's like to at least bump their nose, if not get punched in the face. I mean, I've definitely
Oh, yeah,
taken
plenty
a
of
couple
times, mate,
shots.
plenty of
Yeah.
times.
So if you know what that's like, but just imagine it was like tiny needles
Oh,
over and over again. It's like
God.
sandpaper just rubbing away the skin. And I don't care how tough you are, how big you are, your eyes are going to water up, snot's going to start running out your nose, which is going to make you want to stop and wipe your nose, which is now a raw, bloody mess.
yeah, sure.
Because has anyone got a pimple in their nose before?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
how much that fucking hurts.
It's exactly, yeah. But it's that, and it goes on. It's on and off for about 15, 20 minutes to cover your whole nose. Because
Really?
you're crying. You're like, what the hell's going on? Like, knock it off. Give me a break, you know?
So, all right. So, how long? When did you start kind of this transformation? So, I mean, obviously, this is not something that everybody does. You're
Right.
definitely taking it to the limit.
This
so,
is an extreme way to get out of a fine, mate.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey, anything to avoid a real job
Yeah,
at
sure,
all costs.
Sure.
I started actually getting tattooed and modifying my body around 93, 94. And that was after about 3 years of sort of concept and design and theory behind the whole idea. It was originally part of a conceptual art project idea that I had as a student artist in college.
Wow.
Okay. So how long have you been doing it for then?
Well, I've been doing Sideshow professionally for about 23 years. I've been working on my overall themed body modification transformation for about 25.
Wow. Okay. And how does this affect you on your day to day? I mean, I'm sure you're pretty used to it now, but do you just for shits and giggles just turn up to a desk job with a shirt and tie and just see what happens, or
I haven't actually done that. Turn up with a suit tie. Well, just yesterday I was at the zoo with one of my buddies, a comedian from the States, who I've been trying to get some of my friends that I do stand up with back home to come down and check out the festival scene around here, for a long time. Yeah.
Nice.
And I finally got him to come down. We went to the zoo the other day, and we're in the reptile house, and he's just filming signs and then filming me and filming signs all in the reptile house. Like, should I call someone?
Yeah.
Do I report this?
He's gotten out.
Yeah. Well, every time we walked by a family, that's what he was like, he's escaping.
Yeah.
It's an amphibian.
I've actually, just for fun, applied for jobs.
Yep.
Just for the point of, it's an old joke in America to just be like, are you saying you're discriminating against me based on the color of my skin? No, sir. It's just that we don't think that you would make the best greeter at Walmart.
Sure. I like it.
Out of all places, I reckon you'd make the best
exactly,
greeter at Walmart.
Totally.
Yeah, they might have been an easier fit. That's about
Yeah, but babysitter. I'm not quite sure.
babysitter. Here at Golden Child Daycare.
I don't know what he's doing, but the kids keep eating their vegetables.
They love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do on school is because, as I mentioned, I was, before working on my doctorate like that, my favorite lines to just make parents angry in crowds is be like, kids, remember, it's very important to stay in school. I got a high school diploma with honors. I got an undergraduate degree with honors. I got a master's with honors. And then I went for my doctorate for 4 years before I was able to realize my dream of being a professional freak.
Wow.
So if you stay in school, you too could be just like me.
There
All
you
the
go,
parents'
kids.
faces drop.
Listen in. So can I ask you what your doctorate's in?
Well, it would have been in philosophy had I finished it. I did my course hours. I got to the point where I was picking my committee for my dissertation, and I got an offer to go on a national tour. And graduate school costs a lot of money. Going on tour makes a lot of money. It wasn't hard math.
Most def. Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Now, so you've actually got coral, isn't it, in the top part, or is that just a myth that people keep saying?
I love that this myth is pretty much only still alive in Australia.
We don't get out much.
Well, it took a while to get here, and so the truth is taking that much longer to catch up with it.
Yeah, right.
Can we set the record straight?
In the early 90s,
Yes.
Mr. Lifto and the Enigma, friends of mine from the Gym Row
He's the
Circus.
guy that lifts
that's
stuff
right.
with his old fella,
among
yeah?
other parts, yes.
Sure,
Yep,
sure.
Exactly, yeah. Very famously tore a piece of jewelry out of it doing a lift on a 9 Inch Nails video.
There you go.
But so when Lifto and Enigma left the Gym Row Circus, I came in as a replacement. At that point, I had already had my implants. They had theirs for a couple of years before me. We always thought it was funny because we learned about the Navy, the U.S. Navy, experimenting with coral as a bone graft supplement.
Yep.
And so we just said, like, hey, well, what if we did implants with it? Maybe it would grow to our heads. And we went, well, let's just tell people that. And you know what? As dumb as it sounds for us to say that, what's even dumber is people believe us.
Nice.
They still believe
Nice.
it. So I've literally spent like almost every year since it being like, no, it was a joke. Like, the U.S. Department of Navy is not going to let idiots like us play with millions of dollars worth of synthetic coral to grow horns on our head. They're trying to build new legs and arms for injured soldiers. They don't let us play with that stuff.
Sure.
But he has been banned from the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've been banned from China and Dubai.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. I had a great job offer in Dubai, and they filed for my work permit. They sent in the photos and the all the information with the whole process. Came back with a letter from whatever government official to the club and the booking agent. They were like, "No, he is not welcome here. He will not be working in Dubai." And I was like, "Huh?"
Oh, wow.
And China had a TV show that they wanted to film there, but they can't. They won't allow tattoos. Even if you just have like a tattoo on your arm, they'll make you put a sleeve or something over it. No tattoos.
Censored.
No visible tattoos on
Really?
Chinese TV, government run.
Right.
And they believe it glorifies tattooing, which they think is wrong, so they're not going to... They saw what happened in the West. We let rock stars run around with tattoos, and everybody wanted a tattoo.
Sure.
So they're not going to let that happen in China because they're very anti-tattoo.
That is pretty heavy-duty censorship, isn't it?
Well, as a result of that, though, I was like, well, would they even let me show up and walk around in the street? And what I've been told now by immigration people who deal with Chinese law and visas and stuff, they're like, your chances of going to mainland China are basically nil. They don't even want you walking around. They don't want people to know people like you exist.
Wow.
Really?
You might be able to get into Hong Kong on some type of sponsored visa if I could pull it off with a TV show or something.
Wow.
Okay.
And where in Australia you just can't get into a club because you might be in an outlaw motorcycle club.
No, it's not even that. Because the people that make those, they understand the difference between criminal tattoos and performer tattoos.
Yeah.
Very often I walk by a club and it's like, come in and have a drink. I'm like, no, dude, let me go home. Let me get some rest. It's like walking a gauntlet, leaving the garden out of the range I have, because every club is like, hey, come have a drink. Because, and I'm not complaining here, but people want the Lizard Man to stop by their business and have a drink.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Exactly what we did.
Exactly
Right?
what we did. Now, it is Fringe time, and of course we did drag you over for a chat on the old Badcast. So this is how many times have you been to the Adelaide Fringe before? I'm sure I've seen you before.
Yeah, this is my 7th Fringe.
Wow.
In a row, and I've also done, I'll be going right from here to the Royal Easter Show in Sydney. I've done the Woodford Fest up near Brisbane a couple of times, and what else? A few things in Byron Bay.
Very cool. You'd fit in real well up there, I imagine.
I had a great time up there, yeah. Well, Space Cowboy, who I'm down here at the Fringe with, that's his hometown.
Oh, okay,
awesome.
rightio.
Yeah, he's got a hometown hero back there, and I just got to fill out the bill.
Very cool, very cool. All right, so let's talk about the show you're doing at the moment.
Right.
So you're in the Deja Voodoo Arena. We'll call it that. Tell us about the show. What can people expect to see?
Well, Deja Voodoo presents to you freaks, geeks, and strange girls. On the inside of the tent, it's a freak show cabaret. It happens every day at the Fringe, and each one of our shows has not one, not two, but 3 amazing performers from around the world. Now, we have a whole cast, a cavalcade of human curiosities that have gathered here at the Fringe this year to perform. For instance, we have Dr. Rube's Traveling Flea Circus. It's the last authentic flea circus in the world.
Really?
That's right, yeah. And it is brilliant. It is amazing. You get to meet Tina and Bruno, his trained fleas. If you've never seen trained fleas, you'll want to see these.
Okay.
Now, up there next to him, we've got Lolita on the banner line. Now, Lolita, she's advertised as the boneless Barbie because she's a contortionist. She can bend, twist, contort her body like no other woman could, would, or should.
Wow.
She's one of the only people I've ever gotten to see sit on her own head. She does that in the show. She lays down on the floor, bends her back over, and sits on the back of her own head. But the most amazing thing she does is up in that photo you see there's a bow and arrow in her one foot. So she shoots that bow and arrow with her toes. She actually gets into a handstand, contorts her back over so that her feet point towards the target, and then uses her toes to pull back the string on the bow and fire an arrow, bang, right into the target.
You've already given me a stitch.
Right, there you go. Next to her on the banner line, there's, of course, the most handsome man in the
what
show.
a beautiful,
the modified
beautiful
marble,
man.
the Lizard Man. Now, he's
look at
not
this
just
guy.
a pretty face. On the inside, he performs acts like the human blockhead and the cranial corkscrew. The cranial corkscrew is an act of my own design. It's a giant corkscrew I put in my nose, thread through my skull, down the back of my throat, out my mouth, goes all the way through my head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I might need to borrow him because I've got polyps. So
you go.
it would definitely help with the nasal polyps. For
Yeah, you
sure.
just scrape them right out. I have all kinds of tools in there. I sometimes do it with a running power drill as well. So we can get in there and just haul that out for you, no problem.
There you
You
go.
should get Bunnings to sponsor you.
Backyard
right?
surgery.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I mentioned that it's an 18-volt Makita drill in every show, and yet Makita has never attempted to contact me with a sponsorship deal. I don't know what I have to do.
These corporates, chickens.
They don't understand what sells tickets, man. Phoebe Blue, that's Zoe Lamore's first right up there. She's a pain-proof pinup, a Daredevil diva. She sits in an electric chair, and we have lightning shoot out of her fingers.
Wow.
We actually hook up a
Jesus.
car battery to a steel stool, and she sits there, lets the electricity conduct through her body. She holds fluorescent bulbs in her hands and lights them up.
Fuck.
It's a good old-school electrocution act.
Wow.
In there. She also does angle grinding while doing acrobatics. She wears a metal bikini and shoots sparks off it while she rolls and tumbles across the stage. Both she and Phoebe Blue are fire eaters inside the tent. They eat and breathe fire, bathe their body in flames. Space Cowboy is, of course, Australia's greatest sideshow son, 54-time Guinness World Record breaker. So we've got him pictured up there with 24 swords down his throat.
Whoa.
On the inside, does an entire host, a cavalcade of strange and feats and acts. Gary Stretch on the outside, I'm going to skip over. Unfortunately, Gary was supposed to come from the UK and wasn't able to join us.
Right. Because I was
But
about to say, if I could lose weight in enough time, I could probably
Oh, yeah,
do
he'd
it.
do that. Yeah, he's actually just truly amazing. I have worked with him in London. You can pull, those squirrel suits that they do the skydiving in, right?
Yeah.
You pull on the skin underneath his armpits to his hips, and he's got that.
Wow.
With flesh.
Like legit
Yeah.
bat wings.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the human flying squirrel, except for he's also like 6.5 feet tall, really skinny. It's amazing.
That's amazing.
And then Flavella all the way down on the end there. She's our snake charmer. And this year she has a brand new snake. It's an albino. I know you guys say albino, but that's wrong. It's
Okay.
albino.
All right, fair
It's
enough.
an albino. It's named Golden Ruby's beautiful snake. Yeah, actually,
Wow.
because it is albino, and we've got now UV lighting to go with some of our acts inside the tent. The snake actually glows in the UV lights.
Wow, that
It
would
was
light up
wild.
like Liam Sheets.
After the police
Now,
have been.
I
Yeah.
remember meeting you a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We did
We
Eddie
did
F's
podcast,
Talking
yeah,
Shit.
down at Rhino Room, right?
Yeah,
Was
that's
it?
right.
Yeah.
And a swell time that was.
Yes. One of our favourite podcasts.
Somebody
Eddie.
found a photo from that recently. It's funny that,
Really?
that you bring it up because somebody came to me and was like, "Is that a photo of you?" But it's just my ass in the air when they were trying. When Eddie was trying to look, I pulled my shorts up as hard as I could because he wanted to know if my taint was tattooed. And I was like, I don't know that I've ever actually seen my taint. It felt like it, but
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is fantastic. Well, you can come and see his show. It's only $10. It's an absolute bargain,
ripper.
isn't it?
That's right.
I mean, there's so many great shows here at the Fringe, but definitely come down. Come into the garden. All the way down to the end on the right, you have Deja Voodoo. Check out for the sign there. You can see
Big
the Lizard
pink
Man.
dome, you can't miss it.
Thanks very much for coming on, mate. And where can people find you online?
Oh, the
the
easiest
website?
thing to do is just look for thelizardman.com.
Very
Just
cool.
remember to put the there. Otherwise, you get some weird crypto nonsense. People in weird suits running around forests in North Carolina or something. The Lizard Man of Lee Swamp. He's no good. I'm real.
Very good.
You've done the hard yards, mate.
That's right.
Well, we'll be back after a drinks break. Thanks very much, Lizard Man. You're a champion.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
This beer break was proudly brought to you by Cartel Media. For any advertising in TV, radio, print or web, contact cartelmedia.net. Now back to the boys.
Wow, we're back here at the Adelaide Fringe. We've just been in the Garden of Unearthly Delights, Big Al, speaking to the Lizard Man.
He's been fantastic.
Do you think he might be Illuminati? Because, there's the whole lizard people
yes.
theory. They're
Well, I did see the signs at the front of the tent.
okay, Illuminati confirmed.
Yep,
It's a done deal.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's the big all-seeing eye. Was
Fucking
there's
hell.
two of them out the front of the tent. So there you go.
Creepy lizard eyes.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So we decided to roll across the road to Gluttony, which is another kind of garden, I guess you'd call it, Biggie.
Yep. And I have to say, we did have a beer break then, but we're lying because we're drinking GTs.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Dink with our plastic cups. There's
Yeah.
no noise there.
I'll insert a
unfortunately.
chink.
So, all right, so this is my first time in Gluttony. Looking around, it's kind of a similar breed of thing, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just kind of hoping they're going to franchise out after all these years and just bring over, the 6 other deadly sins.
I'm a big fan of all of them, actually.
Wouldn't that be great? It just looks scattered all over Adelaide, just all the other 6 sins. It'd be fantastic.
I read you.
Yeah.
Now, look, it's been Fringe time. It's been an exciting time in Adelaide. And after this is all over, what happens, Biggie?
We go back to our murderous ways.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Exactly.
It's almost like we're on our best behaviour. It is like Christmas time, when you've got the family over, seeing the in-laws for the very first time. We're very polite.
Yep.
And then we put a close sign at Border Town and every fucker can fuck off.
Bit of
Yep. Yeah. It's totally fine. And we'll just go back to just murdering the fuck out of each other.
That's the way.
And this is the way we like it. And then we'll unhibernate around pageant time.
Yeah. I mean, it is a crazy time. I mean, also TV at the moment, Biggie.
Oh, mate.
How are you going with TV? There is some absolute fucking shit on TV at the moment, isn't there?
There is a reason why things like Netflix, Stan, Foxtel Now are all fucking raking in the money. Because it's like just,
Free-to-air
fucking-
TV, the frickin' reality shows that they've got on at the moment. What's it called? Married at First Sight.
Yeah, Married at First Sight.
Sweet Jesus.
Would you do that? Like if you're a young'un
No
now?
fucking way.
Yeah.
They're not even really married, though, are they?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think they are. I think it's a sham marriage.
Yeah.
They say they're married. But of course they put people together who they know are going to have problems,
Yep.
right? They might appear on the outset to
Yeah.
to like each other, but no.
Well,
no.
I have to say, and this is what I found out because I've got friends going over to Thailand to get married.
Right.
There could be lots of illegitimate marriages.
Right.
So you could be in a terrible marriage right now and you may not even be married. So what it is, what they found out is that, when people go over to Thailand and Bali to get married,
Right, yeah.
you can't legally get married in there unless you stay in that country for over 7 days. So
they're void. They're null and void.
Yeah, that's right. So these places come along and go, oh, yeah, we've got a celebrant and we do all that. But they're actually they're actually not married. So you either have to stay in the country for, I think, 7 days before you're classified as married in that country.
Really?
And then it may not stick in this because you're not married under Australian law.
Yeah.
And then have a ceremony at the civil celebrants office
Yeah.
before or after you go.
That paperwork, bruh.
I reckon there's a lot of bogans out there that just going, oh, what a fucking, yeah. And then they're not even married.
I do know this girl who was on, she's more of a Facebook friend these days, and she got married, I guess it was a couple of years ago now, probably a year and a half maybe from memory. Anyway, she was doing the whole marriage thing, and she made a big deal about how she was going to do it on the cheap. She had like a busker for musical entertainment.
Oh,
she had everything was super cheap, right? But the worst bit about it is 6 months later, she's going, yeah, the celebrant wasn't actually registered, just some fucking guy. And I did have a chuckle, you know.
It was the busker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I know you play guitar, but, you know, any chance you could fucking hitch us as well?
Didn't even have a busking permit, so tough fucking times. Tough times. But yeah, some shocking fucking stuff on TV, but let's not talk any more about that shit.
Amazing stuff right now. We're on this hill in Adelaide, and right now, believe it or not, buses are going underneath us.
That's true. It's now a bus tunnel. Can you feel the vibrations?
Yeah. Or it could be just the Vindaloo from last night.
Yeah, well.
But we're Oban. I think we got that from the Germans.
Yeah, that's right.
And they've let it go. They've innovated their way through. But I love the Oban.
So just so if anybody who doesn't know, and it's a fairly ridiculous thing when you try and explain it to people, we have got a bus system
that turns into a train.
Yeah, these buses go on bus train tracks.
Yeah.
And that's so the bus driver can basically just put his hands behind his head once he goes on the track and just press the accelerator and and away you go to your destination.
It's like a shit transformer.
Yeah.
It's like a transformer that hasn't really tried.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on.
But you're just going, no, I'm a fucking train, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Look at me on the tracks.
They do have the ones that go on the Oban. They do have the buses have got those kind of bumper bowling things on the side of them, don't they?
Yes.
It's
and I love it when and it normally happens around fringe time when tourists decide to let's go in the Oban, yeah, right. Next minute, there's a fucking car stuck on there.
Yeah. People decide to give it a go, don't they?
I've always wanted to give it a go.
Well, it's going to be the wrong gauge, isn't it? Your wheels aren't going to be far enough apart.
Yeah, you're totally
and it's
right.
like they've purposely made it that way because you probably, if they just made it like a track, you probably could get away with it, but they've made it so that, no, you will get stuck.
I know.
If you go on there.
It should be a game of skill.
Yeah.
So you should have free rego for a year if you can make it.
Yep.
Just leave it open for one day.
Yeah.
Right, and just have cranes there. They're just craning, and you have to pay $200 if you don't fucking make it.
Dude's just flying down there, not steering. There's sparks flying everywhere. No worries though, eh?
Being from being a bit of a bargain, I'd come along and just go, just take the fucking tyres off and we'll just use the rims.
What could possibly go wrong? Here on the Oban here in Adelaide. But it's been, it's coming towards the end of the Fringe.
I know, it's sad, isn't it?
Have you got any amazing memories from this year's events?
Hey, look, I did the Hilton Hotel gigs, and I have to say they were fantastic. Lots of fun. We had around about a good 70 to 80 each night.
Great.
For 2 nights. And I think they're even looking at maybe doing some this winter.
Very cool. Stay tuned for that. And where can people find out about that, Biggie?
The Hilton Hotel My Bar.
Very good.
Just on Bradbury. Not the
one with the Chihuahua carrying ladies.
Yeah.
That one.
The one that just loves the
Yeah. Wow. But that was a good show. I actually did turn up there last Friday to see Biggie. It
was good to see him, mate.
It was a chockers night. Funny stuff. Plenty of northern jokes.
Yep.
And it was a good night had by all, I reckon.
Oh, it was. I remember last year we had that fuckwit who was trying to fight people.
Yeah. You outraged some old guy, didn't you?
Yeah, because I tried to bop him on the nose.
That's right. You did. Yeah. In fairness, he probably would have let it go, but you did start touching his nose and angering him further and further.
Yeah. I was totally poking the bear, just like, go on, you little fucker. Arc up.
But it's been a good little Fringe season. The Adelaide Podcast Festival was a bit of fun as well. We had a good time there. Good turnout, lots of good shows.
Very successful.
And if you are interested in checking out those shows, check out Ozcast Network Extra. There's a big series called Adelaide Podcast Festival, and there's just all the different shows that went on there. You can check them out for free.
Awesome. And I think our last ep was from the podcast festival as well.
That's right. So you can check that out on the Badcast feed or Ozcast Network Extra. But it's been a fun little time, and we got plenty more great content coming up for you guys. We've been talking to a bunch of really interesting types that might come on our show, and
one person who's definitely coming. We've got Johnny Hazeman coming.
Johnny Hazeman.
Yep.
Now, if you don't know who that is, you need to check him out online.
Yes.
And there's all kinds of great videos taken by the public of him in action.
There should be a picture of him on our state flag. Get rid of the fucking magpie. Just have a picture of Johnny.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, how's this? I might I might see if we could do it. What about if I wear some shorts? I won't wear short shorts,
right?
Because I've still got a little bit of dignity.
Yep.
And I'll just wear a tight t-shirt and a koala backpack. And what about if Johnny and I walk down the mall?
That would be amazing. That would be a beautiful podcast.
Yeah.
And I think you'd get a lot of great reactions from people.
I reckon we could do it. I could maybe wear your Bagcast t-shirt.
Yeah,
and that
sure,
will turn
sure.
into a bit of a crop top.
I'll never be able to wear it again.
No,
You'll blow it out, but
I'll
it's worth
stretch
it.
that baby to a 4XL for
It's
sure.
worth it. It's worth it. But one other thing before we head off,
Yes.
the Badcast is in the running for the Australian Podcast Awards.
Yes, that's right.
So jump online, Australian Podcast Awards. There's a popular vote. There's a whole bunch of entrants there, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be hard to find us. But scroll down and scroll down and scroll down until you find the red Badcast logo. Give us a thumbs up, guys. We do this for peanuts,
That's
you know?
right. And they will make you sign in with an email address.
Yeah.
And you dodgy fuckers like me have at least got five email addresses.
Of course, we'd never encourage you to cheat.
No, it's not cheating. It's legitimately, like, you know,
I think you should be able to have an email address per personality.
Yep. Totally
which,
right.
that's legitimate.
Wow. In that case, some of the people I know, fucking 50 entrants.
Well, guys, check us out on the Facebook page. We've got a poorly maintained Twitter as well,
Yeah,
badcast.com.au. Anywhere else, Biggie?
Probably just bus stops and you'll see me on public transport.
Very good. We'll catch you guys next time. This has been the Badcast, everybody.
Help us buy more beers and sponsor us. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter or badcast.com.au. The Badcast is part of the Ozcast Podcast Network.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.